Racing regulations all around the world and in just about every code say that your bodywork has to cover the tread of your race tyres. So when you fit seriously wide rubber and increase your track as well, your bodywork has to go out as well. And there's two common ways of doing that, as you'll know. The easiest way is just to bolt on a set of flares. But the problem with them is they always then look like an add-on. If you want the smoothest race car appearance, you need a full panel. You can get that easily with front guards, but the big advantage of guard overs is that they allow you to cut away the original bodywork where the wheel arch commonly fouls the tyres because of the way the cars are constructed. So let me show you how to make your own set of rear wheel guard overs.
A big advantage in doing sculpting and moulding of car panels after a few years, well maybe 5 to 10 years, is you accumulate a lot of panels and moulds and bits you can use to sculpt other cars. The easiest way to do sculpting on a car is to try and use something that's already existing, that's similar to the shape that you're trying to create, rather than do everything from scratch. Sometimes you've got to do that, but if you can find bits from a wrecking yard or whatever, then that makes it easier. So I've taken this lightweight guard that I made to sculpt the front body clip, and I've cut it down and lined it up in line with the back wheel arch. And this is the bit that I want to fill in with a scoop. It won't do anything, it'll just be for styling. And like I say, I like the look of it on the classic GT350 Shelby Mustang. This is what I'm going to use. This is a front bar that I made and sculpted myself from a bar that was on my nephew's Nissan 200 SX. And I'm going to take that scoop there. I took his bar and I cut it up to fit the Falcon, and then remoulded it all. So I've got moulds of this. I want to take this scoop here and turn it upside down and face it the other way and put it in here. And then I'll blend in an edge so the panel will go from the door along the body sill line and probably straight down the back there. So it'll be a bolt-on panel. To make a rear wheel arch die that I can remove from the car and mould in fiberglass with it sitting horizontally rather than vertically, I've put this sheet of thin metal over the car, and I'm going to screw and glue everything onto this, and then I should be able to take that off. I've been able to put self-tappers in because, one, this is a rally car, it doesn't really matter, and two, the new bodywork will go over those holes in the car and cover it anyway. So I'll be able to cut the wheel arch out, put this back on, and fasten the bits of fiberglass and the mouldings to it, and do my rough shaping, and the edges of that tin will become along the door and across the top and down the back here. That'll become the edge of the panel that I finally mould and put on here. Doing this sort of work with cars, there's a lot of experimentation and trying things out and keeping your fingers crossed. I'm about to glue my fiberglass sculpting panels onto the sheet metal, which will allow me to remove this sculpture from the car to mould it. But I'm a little concerned about the Bondo that'll hold this on, locking onto this very smooth sheet gal metal. So I've taken the whole thing off, and I've drilled holes all the way along where the sculpting panels are going to go, where the glue's going to go to hold them. And that will allow the glue to go just a little bit through that sheet metal and lock everything together. And then, having drilled all those holes, I've put the sheet metal back on. Now I can glue my panels on.
easy to make room for big rubber on just about any modern car on the front, because the panels there are just single layer, so you either fit flares or make a whole new fiberglass guard like I do and make more room that way. But on the back, the construction is the limiting factor, because what manufacturers do is they weld together the outer panel and the inner wheel arch, and so you end up with a shape like that. You've got the inner wheel arch there and the outer panel there, and it curves down, and at that point there, that's the problem, because you can't put a racing tyre out past that point. And if you put it so that it goes past this point here, the car can't be as low as what you need it to be. So by taking away this downward lip, I'll be able to get my big rubber tucked right up underneath the guard, which means the bodywork will be able to come down as low as possible, lower than I can do at the moment. So that's my task now, is to cut this away and replace it.